Hey everyone, this is Lye Yosh. Welcome back to Life Study Library. I hope everyone's doing fine. Today we're going to be talking about recycling human interaction. What do I mean by this? I mean by how to use and benefit from your haters, or more precisely, people who you don't like, who you disrespect. And I can already smell some people saying, "Oh, but Yosh, it's not ethical to use people. We gotta help each other. Humans gotta help each other." And listen, I'm not a monster, okay? So I'm gonna let them sleep talk all they want. I'm not gonna go out of my way to take away their utopian ideologies from them. But okay, with all that said, how many of you have made goals for this year? How many want to do something like get in shape or master a new skill or something? And when you think about these goals, you think about someone who you admire, someone who have already tried what you're about to do and succeeded. This is what a role model is. But it's also true that you can reverse this mindset. You can think of someone who you despise, someone who you think, oh, if I become like them, it's going to be the end for me. In this video, I'm going to be introducing you guys how to use these people to your own benefit, and hence, human recycling. In this channel, I'm going to be talking about these interesting scientific and psychological information by implementing data from scientific studies. So if this interests you and you want to watch more of my past and my future videos, then make sure to subscribe to my channel and like this video, as that will support me so much. Now, without further ado, let's continue with today's video. So to begin with, we need to first know that we humans carry our own personal regulatory focus. Regulatory focus is essentially a framework that we put on our goals. And within this, we tend to carry one of two motivational orientations, which is either a promotion focus or prevention focus. A promotion focus is basically what you're trying to accomplish. Goals like getting in shape, learning a new language, building a car needs an application of promotion focus. And then there's the prevention focus, which is basically goals where you prevent something from happening. When you're trying to quit smoking or restrain yourself from drinking, goals like these need an application of prevention focus. By applying role models or misfit role models into our life, we're more motivated to do whatever we're trying to accomplish, either achieving something or restricting from something. It is also proven that individuals are more motivated by role models that fit their personal regulatory focus. A study was done where 61 samples were collected, and each were given with a positive or negative message concerning health and fitness. So a positive message would be like, this person is always healthy because of a balanced diet. And then the negative message would be, this person is always sick because of an unhealthy diet. And then the researchers asked the participants to rate the value of accomplishment goals, in this case promotion goals. For example, a healthy diet generates a feeling of fulfillment. And secondly, participants rated the value of safety goals, in this case prevention goals. For example, a healthy diet prevents cardiovascular problems. Participants who received a positive model, a message that tells you can be always healthy because of a balanced diet, rated accomplishment goals as more valuable when compared with participants who received the negative model. And this is pretty self-explanatory. This is how role models work. They serve as a type of a motivational figure, someone or something with a quality or an accomplishment you one day dream of attaining yourself. Additionally, participants who received a negative model considered safety concerns as more valuable. People who perceived their goal through a message that said, a person is always sick because of a poor diet, was more motivated by a prevention goal, to take action in order to prevent a negative consequence from happening. The results showed that people's decision on whether to engage or not to engage in a particular behavior depends on choices of either gains or losses that they are initially exposed to. So people who don't really care about getting a fantastic physique, but do care about getting a healthier and a longer life, these people will be more motivated when matched with a role model who's lean but not too muscular, and a message from a bodybuilder will not be much of a help. They do need a message that tells them the benefits of gaining something, but the role models has to be on point with whatever goals they're headed to. In contrast, people who want to stop themselves from doing something, it's not the best to show them messages or role models that represents the benefits of their disengagement, but it's more helpful to show them the consequences if they were to engage in something that they're not supposed to. So say for example, a nicotine addict would be more motivated to quit smoking if they were told that continuous smoking would damage their body and their brain, they'll have horrible skin condition, and they'll have other severe health conditions like cancer. These kinds of messages and role models that represents these negative effects will motivate them better compared to messages that show benefits of quitting smoking. So even though stuff like quitting smoking leads to health benefits, and not quitting smoking doesn't lead to health benefits, the meaning behind these messages are the same, but the way that they're presented differs in its effect, depending on what the person is looking for and how they want to set their goal. So what does this have to do with using and benefiting from people? More precisely speaking, using your haters or people who you just don't like. Well, my point is that you can apply the same principles to the people who you don't like or people who will go out of their way to harm you. Your haters, people who waste their time and gossip about you behind your back. I don't know if you ever experienced this before, but whenever you're trying to do something, whenever you're trying to accomplish something, right? There's always going to be those people, there's always going to be the naysayers. And yeah, there are naysayers with a good intention. If you're planning on doing something so out of the ordinary, there's going to be people like your parents or your family who's going to stop you and say, whoa, 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 hold on a second. In most cases, these people are fine because they are worried about you because they might think that you're ahead of your game or something. And plus, since your family's related to you, they'll most likely worried about you out of genuine care. And yeah, I know that some parents or family don't want children to venture out because they feel like they would lose their kids and want to keep the kids to themselves or whatever that means. But then there are some people who will go out of their way to cause unneeded fuss and drag you down to their level so they can feel like they've accomplished something. These people, I call them economic waste. And you may think I'm mean, but think about it. They're wasting yours and their time of life to accomplish nothing. Quite frankly, their lives could be traded for a far better cause. But enough about them. My point is that you can use these people as a misfit role model and make them a representation of what you don't want to be. Just like the saying goes, you can learn from everyone, whether positively or negatively, or something like that. I forgot how it goes, but... So the study proves that by altering the framework of your role model, or your advice, or whatever you're getting an inspiration from, you are able to strengthen the effectiveness of its persuasion. So let's say you're working out, you're benching 200 pounds, and you're giving the life out of yourself in order to get the last rep. And in your head, you're like, oh, I can't do it anymore. And in your head, you're thinking about, let's say, Captain America. He doesn't give up. He's not that type of guy. That's him working as a positive role model for your promotion goal, to lift that one last rep, or to answer that one last question when you're studying. In contrast, you can also look at people who cause harm to you. People like your boss, who's mean to you for no reason, or those fakers that seems friendly but gossips behind your back. And then those middle-aged men who are like, oh, it's all about the money, that's what women are attracted to, and then have a body like Snorlax, except ugly. And then those women around them are like, oh no, having a little weight on the belly, it makes you charming, it makes you adorable, aha! And then I'm like, wow, they're doing their job so well. You can use them as an example of what you shouldn't become. Every time you want to restrict yourself from doing something, like quitting a bad habit, something that you do unconsciously that leads to a negative effect. In situations like these, you could be thinking of these misfit role models, and you tell yourself, I'm not going to give up because I do not want to be like them. So in summary, there are positive role models and negative role models, and depending on which type of goal methods you are implementing, they can help you with your accomplishment of promotion or prevention goal. But then you stop and ask, yeah, I get what you're saying, but it's really hard to distinguish who I should be considering as a misfit role model. It's relatively easy to find a traditional role model, but it's quite difficult to find the opposite, who I should keep myself away from. And I understand that. Once you find a misfit role model, you can use the method that I showed you before. You can look at people who are obviously causing harm to you. Like the boss who's mean to you for no reason. It's a different story when you encounter fakers. They're for sure misfit role model material. In fact, that's like the only positive thing they have towards you. But you know it's not simple like that. What they do is not obviously detectable. They don't mindlessly push you around like a school bully in the movie. They have a subtle way to sneak into your personal space and make it seem like they're your ally, but in reality they'll harm you by stabbing you in the back or try to control you when you're the most vulnerable. And you might think that dealing with these kind of people just comes down to luck. Whether you're lucky enough to not have them around you, or unlucky enough to have them in your life and not even know who it is. If this is what you're thinking, you're in for a pleasant surprise. Science has found evidence, or a pretty confident technique to detect these kind of people. People who might, in the future, turn their backs on you when you need them. People you can do so much better without. By using this one simple technique, you have a good chance of knowing who to trust and who you should not. And I'm going to talk about that in the next video, which will come in like a week or so, maybe. It's going to be titled something like How to Detect Future Traitors or something like that, I don't know. But until then, try to think about someone who you admire when you're trying to accomplish something. And think about someone who you despise when you're trying to restrain from something. And lastly, make sure to hit the subs and comment below on what you want me to talk about in the future. Alrighty, see you later.